Yeah. In the middle. Stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, the meat between our two pieces of bread.
A rose between two thorns.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe the thorny old.
Where am I going? Am I going this way?
Maybe
No, I'm
bugger.
going this way. There. Alrighty. Hello, friend.
Hello, mate. How we doing?
We're back.
Hello, Andrew.
Yes, we are. We are.
We are.
Lots have changed in the last 12 months, hasn't it?
Little
Lots
bit.
of things have happened.
I believe you've been a little busy, haven't you?
Yes, we ran an event down in Melbourne.
Wonderful
in
ArcOpen.
March. Yes, the first one.
Smashing success.
220 entries or around there, which was, for a first up of go, was just sensational. Lots of people coming, hanging out, showing off their work, and a lot of things have sort of resulted because of that event, you know.
What things have happened, Andrew?
Well, we've got painting guilds going everywhere, so the Melbourne Figures Painters Guild has joined the fray.
Buckz and discussed with them yesterday. Had a great chat with them yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. The hardest part about is getting all the names right, because there's two guilds and then there's one collective, I believe.
Oh,
And
is it?
I think Melbourne's the collective, and
Okay.
then classic
Well,
Melbourne
I'm
trying
here to tell you, Melbourne,
be different.
Stop being wankers, right? Just call it the Display Painters Guild and conform with everyone else, right? It's not that hard. Peanuts.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be Melbourne if it wasn't
Yeah.
that. So.
So, and we've moved on with ArcOpen, yes. The venue that we were at last year wasn't particularly one of the best conventional.
It was an
event
interesting space.
place.
It was an interesting space.
Yeah,
It was big.
it was big. Yeah, and when you're running a 200 plus player tournament, which Dan Attrell's been doing for 15 odd years, you sort of that was the prime reason. But it gave us an opportunity to have some of that space for ArcOpen, which, you know, kudos to Dan for twisting my arm really hard and getting me to step back in to be involved in the painting community.
Yeah,
side of
Dan's
things.
really passionate about sort of bringing all aspects of the love of miniatures, isn't he, to the public with Arc and what they
Yeah,
do.
so like I think one of the things was that the last year's venue, which had been a venue for Arc 40K for a couple of years, is being demolished. So we had to find somewhere new to go, and I'm pleased, and I think that ArcOpen contributed to some of the decisions and the choices that have been made along the way to create what this year will be called ArcFest, and is going to one of Melbourne's premier locations, which is Sandown Racecourse.
Right around the corner from where I live. Yeah, beauty.
Yo, beauty.
It's still miles away from where Trent and I live. but,
Yeah,
you
a
know.
long way. So, tell me about Sandown Racecourse. We got greater facilities, have we? Or
So parking is not a problem at all, because obviously it's the venue for both motorsport and for horse racing.
yep.
And if anyone's been to any horse racing track, you've got a big facility grandstand area that's supported by convention and conference rooms and entertainment spaces.
There is options.
There are lots of options.
Good.
Yeah.
And we really took on Sandown and expanded to invite more people.
So I see Arc Sigma, I see Arcfinity, I see Arc Heresy, and is that a Marvel Crisis Protocol as well?
It sure is,
That
yes.
Days of
Jeez Louise!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've now gone from one event with a painting event attached to it to a convention that could potentially rival CanCon in the future.
We'll have to see how that goes, but this is obviously the first step. It's going to be the biggest tabletop event in Victoria.
It will be.
For sure.
Comfortably.
Yep. And we'll just see how many we can get on board and go forward for next year. But we've still got this year to actually finalise, put on, get people to come to.
Our experience with ArcOpen last year was really positive.
Well, that started with us being special guests. So
Well,
that was, we were very well looked
You and I
after.
were a special guest. We had special lanyards, and we were appreciated, which I appreciate. Love being a special guest. But it was a great event, and it's really great for us, who've been working on Crimson for a few years, to see other events joining, everything that we've got building for our display painting community. And what was most exciting to see how many different faces were there, how many people we'd never seen before. Because that's ultimately what we're trying to achieve by doing this, by talking to people, is getting new people on board with what we do.
On board in all aspects,
Yeah.
not just as participants, but in organisation, in promotion, in it all.
Yeah. So we had a fantastic time. Young Andrew was successful in winning a gold medal, I
Yes.
believe, at one of those single figure, was it 40K?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do pretty well at ARC. I had 3 overall, but I did win the only gold medal in single miniature.
And
yes.
I believe Dave Colwell also entered a piece. Is that right?
He did, yes.
So you're telling me you won a gold and Dave won a silver?
You are saying that, yes.
Outstanding.
And that is how the results went.
Enjoy that, David. Well done.
Funnily enough, Dave wants that piece. He wants to own that piece from me, and I'm not sure if he wants to own it so
he can burn it?
so he can burn it, or he wants to own it because he wants to stare at it and be reminded that will never ever happen again.
I love it. It was
We'll see how it
great.
goes.
We'll see how we go. No, there's a friendly rivalry there, and we are absolutely looking forward to throwing down again this year at ARC.
I'm looking forward, and look, I think that's one of the cool things that we now have 3 high-level
absolutely.
events in the Australian scene, and that people can be involved in the organisation of one, and then participate in others.
Judging as well in different capacities,
We sort of
organising.
had an early chat this morning, Trent and I did, about judging and about cycling judges. You're doing some judge cycling this year.
Yes. So our first year we were blessed with some celebrity.
Who might that have been?
That was Emil and Lucas from Squidmar. They were brought over by House of War, who were one of the major sponsors of the ARC 40K weekend. They brought a lot of people's attention to ArcOpen, to the ARC weekend, they did a fantastic job in their judging capacity.
Just on that note, isn't it, celebrity status is sort of a thing that's occurring around miniature art these days. And I think we saw some real first-hand, celebrity status stuff with the kids, floating around. Emil, I need to talk to you. Let poor Emil, let him be.
There was a little bit of that.
He got off a plane. No,
So
who's
who's judging this year? Are you able to
Well, I
announce
was going to
that?
say the other judge that we had last
Victoria
year was
Lamb,
Victoria
amazing.
Lamb, yes.
Absolutely.
Victoria had a great time, and she was very quick to respond to our offer, would you like to come back? And so she's going to be doing that.
Amazing.
Bringing along some more of her work for Victoria Miniatures, but she's also going to be joining in the judging. So I think she had a very immersive experience coming to the event, particularly because there was people who were using her miniatures in their armies in 40K in the event, but also that just everyone was so happy that she was there to talk to her. We're adding someone who is also integral to the community in Sydney with Jared Clifford. So he was our...
JC, winner of the People's Choice last year, I believe.
That's correct.
With the tour, we call it the Tour de Force, which was the Flesh Terrors diorama that's been absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
It got retired this year. This was the first event I believe it was fully retired for. So it's
about time, mate.
It's in the halls of Jared right now, I believe.
Well, hopefully we can, if we can get enough people getting on board and buying tickets early for the ArcOpen, then I have resources available to put things in place, like some nice display cabinets, where we can leave things like Jared's collection of work on display.
You'll need a lot of cabinets for Jared's collection. And there was another change this year as well. Was there a third judge?
There's a
that you've
third
announced?
judge, yes.
Good.
So relates to, and the choice of offering that person to come along relates to the change in the categories.
Great.
So, which one do I tell you about first? I'll tell you about the judge. So, it's someone who's been involved in our community here in Australia for a long time, an advocate for joining and participating in Golden Demon, particularly in the dual category, which he owned and loved.
Yes.
And a partner with Sebastian Archer in the Twisted Miniatures venture, Peter Overton.
Pete, the great Pete Overton.
If you don't, I'm not sure if Peter's work is like on Instagram and things like that. But if you go to any of the resources, the Golden Demon resources from times past, I think it's still called Golden Demon Winners. It's still up. Demonwinner.fa. If you go there, jump into the Australias, and then scale back literally through probably like 2000 all the way up to 2007. Pete's work is there in almost every year, and Andrew's not joking when he says he owned the dual category.
So I've got some articles that are going to be going up in the next week, just covering some background of the judges, and Peter's supplied me with some up-to-date photos of some of those pieces.
Excellent.
And some of those works. So keep an eye out on arc40k.com.
I always remember that battle pilgrim that he had. Was it a battle pilgrim fighting an orc, I think, on a boar or something like that? It was awesome.
I love Pete.
Good. So, yes, I do too.
And I noticed you added a category at the behest of one Trent Dennison.
Well, yes and no, because if you notice the three categories that we do have, they mirror in some ways the category range that's available in Golden Demon. And having worked on developing Golden Demon here in Australia while it was running at Games Days, and then
back at Moore Park a long time ago.
Yep, absolutely. And in keeping it alive post the demise of Games Day by having the
store,
send around, the store-based one. Yeah. We tried as hard as we could to keep it going, but I still felt that the categories are relevant. So, single miniature gives people that 28mm scale single figure to enter something in. The unit or squad or gang is very much in focus because we're part of the ARC 40k event. And then obviously the larger miniature, which allows us to have 75mm scale as well as catch-all for all the busts. The missing component is actually my favourite category, and when I was a staff member before I took on judging at and running Golden Demon, was the open category of diorama and display. And I have to put my hand on my heart and say, Mike McVeigh was a big inspiration for me.
Mike McVeigh.
And when Golden Demon arrived here in Australia, I was excited until I realised I could only enter one category as a staff member, and that was open. So, hence dioramas and building things that tell a story on a big scale.
Last year I brought down a piece that I was very excited to enter, and then when I got there I was told, you know what, we don't have a category that you can enter this in. It doesn't exist. It was a stitch up. You know that, it was an absolute stitch up.
And by stitch up, what he means is they put it literally on a desk that every single person saw in front of the whole event. Yeah. It was probably one of the most talked about pieces there. It got a sizzle reel of its own. It had smoke machines. If you at home think Deno is hard done by, let me tell you.
He was hard done by that day.
Absolute.
Hard done by.
Well,
we've got a diorama category, and I've got a piece cooking for it right now.
He's cooking on something, so.
Can't wait.
Absolutely. So.
No, it's going to be a fantastic year, mate. So as we'll just nip back over to this again. So 26th, 27th and 28th of April, Sandown Racecourse in the beautiful Melbourne. Plenty of events there for many people. So
And spectators more than welcome to come along.
Yes, we've got spectator tickets available. Just go to the ARC40K website.
and you can sign up for the ARC newsletter, which gets sent out quite regularly, which has information and updates about the event. Highly recommend coming along. It's going to be a fantastic year, and it'd be good to be at the inaugural ARC Fest because in the future, who knows what it'll be.
Who knows what it'll be? And if you want to see any of the coverage from last year, it's well documented on ARC40K. The website's down here. You can see it, arc40k.com.
Yep.
You can see all of our previous entries from the year before.
And we've got articles talking
Yeah, you've
about
got
the
plenty.
event, and we've got a whole pile of articles due to come out. Obviously, this is the moment for Crimson Brush, but once Crimson Brush has started to go,
Yeah. And
We'll be
the
moving
great
on
thing
with
is,
lots of
mate, we've collaborated and we've built this together. The success of our event benefits you, and the success of your event benefits Guilds Inn, and then us. So we're working symbiotically to create a strong scene across the whole of Australia, and that includes Perth. Hopefully, we'll bring the Iron Signet into this.
Yeah, that's something
into the
that's
mix as
really
well.
it is on the bucket list to get out and
Yeah.
support. It's as we talked about yesterday, it's a fair way to go, but we love miniature painting, so we'll do our best at
We'll
some
do our
point
best.
to see what we can do there.
I think it's the fact that none of us are in competition.
Exactly.
We're here to complement each other,
Yep.
and we're here to be a community
Exactly.
that work together.
Yeah.
and that's
Well, I can just tell you, when ARC comes around, I'm really excited to paint Warhammer.
Yeah.
I get pumped up to paint 32mm scale, traditional. What I think is where my roots were as a young fella, where all of our roots
All of our
really
roots,
were
yeah,
as
yeah.
a young fella.
Man.
You get excited for it. You
Yeah, I love it.
you want to pull some stuff out. So I know that there's a bunch of new faces that are going to be at ARC this year from the broader community. I think we're going to see a bunch of the Sydney guys make the trip down this year.
We're
So
looking forward to host.
yeah, it should be awesome.
So fantastic. Thank you for your time, Longy. We're looking forward
Thanks,
to seeing
Phil.
you in a few months. And to everyone out there, we'll be back soon. We're going to grab some people and do some interviews over in the display lounge.
we are indeed.
So thanks, Longy.
Thanks, fellas.
No worries.
Back soon.
See you all.